So you can see Howard Stern right here. He's trending. And why is he trending? Because he returns to SiriusXM radio show after trolling listeners. Right? And what is the troll? The popular and highly paid radio host returned to the airwaves Monday after trolling listeners into thinking he had departed his long-running show. Stern, who is 71 years old, who evolved from his shock jock origins to become a respected interviewer, enlisted a seemingly flustered Andy Cohen at the top of the Howard Stern show to pretend to be his successor. This was supposed to be a cleaner handoff. I'm kind of winging it, said Cohen. Stern then came on the air and thanked the Bravo personality who has his own Sirius XM show and podcast for agreeing to do the bit. The stunt was the culmination of weeks of promos that promised a big reveal, following swirling speculation that Stern's show would be canceled. The tabloids have spoken. Howard Stern fired, canceled. One promo video said, "It is really bye-bye Bowie." The speculation grew after Stern postponed his return from a summer break last week. Right, okay, so the stunt with Andy Cohen, Emmy award-winning producer, writer, radio personality, and TV host. You can see him right here. And I guess this was all a stunt. Kind of looks like J.D. Vance in a couple of these pictures in the face. But, okay, so over here now. So look here how it says Howard Stern returns to Sirius XM radio show after trolling listeners. All right, I want to make sure you see that right there. And I always thought that Howard Stern looked like a troll. Did your parents have any of those little troll dolls? Look on the left right there. And, you know, I guess you could see the origin of the troll right there or whatever. But look, it kind of looks like Howard Stern. And they put trolling listeners. Everything starts with the language. Do you understand? Okay. Oh, do you understand? Right? Dude looks like a troll. Now look at how Howard Stern in the reverse ciphers got 152. And he returned Monday, the 251st day of the year. That's 251. Also, from September 8 to his upcoming January 12 birthday, in between the two dates is 125 days. And you'll be able to see that a little bit later. So you get 125, 251, 152. Okay? Not a coincidence. So I guess I'm going to try to play this video. And you may have got a little sneak peek there of the next slide. So Howard Stern returns, I guess, after this prank.
All right. As for specific stocks, it has been, as you take a look at Treasuries, so it's been a volatile morning for shares of SiriusXM. This after the king of all media, calls himself that, Howard Stern, pranked listeners into thinking that he had left his show. Let's get over to Julia Borston. She has this still evolving story. I don't know, Julia, is it done now?
Well, the deal still is not negotiated, but let's start with the beginning. This morning, Howard Stern returned to his show, pranking his listeners. First, Andy Cohen appeared at the top of Stern's 7 a.m. time slot, saying he was replacing Stern and rebranding the show Andy 100. Then, about 10 minutes into this, Stern returned and announced this was all a hoax. Now, this news sent Sirius shares lower pre-market. Now they're up about 2%. They kind of have been bouncing around. And all of this comes after Stern was off for the summer and then a week longer than his scheduled return. Rumors were circulating that his deal was not being renewed with SiriusXM. But this morning, he praised SiriusXM CEO Jennifer Witz, though he did not announce a new contract for the company. His deal does expire at the end of this year. Now, Stern's 5-year deal with Sirius has been one of many deals he's done with SiriusXM, and he had said he would discuss his future a week ago. He then delayed his return due to illness, and it was that delay that sparked all this speculation, all these rumors about his future. Now, just last week, in the midst of this speculation, SiriusXM's Jennifer Witz addressed the controversy at a Bank of America conference, saying, "I think he's been core to our platform for over 20 years, so I'm confident we'll get to the right place." So while Stern's return to the show is sparking some reports that his deal has been officially renewed, that's actually not true either. There's no new agreement set for next year, though he and Sirius seem to certainly be in a better place than many people had speculated about.
Julia, are there any broadly accepted metrics as to how much engagement Stern himself drives?
You know, I'm not entirely sure, Carl, but I think there are various ways to calculate this, right? So there's listeners and then there's subscribers. And there's this question of how many subscribers have signed up for SiriusXM because they want Howard Stern. And then, of course,
all right, it's definitely a hoax, right? So you may have caught this Queen Elizabeth II connection, okay? If you didn't, look. So he returns Monday. He returns to the show Monday. And notice how Howard Stern was born in the Jackson Heights neighborhood of Queens. And today, Monday, is the 3-year death anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II. Okay? And look, Howard Stern is widely considered the king of shock rock. Notice how it says, though other personalities like Don Imus, Bubba the Love Sponge, you get Don. And he said this was a hoax or whatever. Where did that word became poppin' with another Don that we know on the world stage. But look, he calls himself the king of all media and widely considered the king of shock rock. And he returns on the death anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, notice here. Where did it go? Right there. Or wait, no, right here. Right there, look. Jackson Heights neighborhood of Queens. Dude, Michael Jackson's birthday was just a few weeks ago. And Andy Cohen, who was in on the prank saying he was going to replace Stern or whatever, his freaking middle name is Joseph. And that's Michael Jackson's middle name, Joseph. Notice how Michael Jackson is born in Indiana. Gary, Indiana. Dude, there's somebody named Gary, also known by the nickname Baba Booey. American radio producer. Oh, my phone's gonna go wild right now. You see that? Look at the connection. I'm sure he had a strong opinion on Michael Jackson in the past as well. Gary, Indiana, Baba Booey, Gary Delabate, also known by the nickname Baba Booey, American radio producer who has been the executive producer of The Howard Stern Show since 1984. And Andy Cohen with the middle name Joseph, like Michael Jackson, in on this prank. Do you think the world's fake yet? Because remember, former commissioner of the NBA, David Stern, died 11 days before Howard Stern's birthday. Okay? Like the king of shock radio, the king of all media, he calls himself. David Stern dies 11 days before Howard Stern's birthday. Former commissioner of the NBA, David Stern. Come on. Come on, right? We keep track of these characters. Look at that right there. 1-1, New Year's Day. 11 days later, the Howard Stern birthday. Come on, right? Everything is fake. By the language. Now look. This is awesome right here. Okay, because during the Mark Volman breakdown, I just dropped this breakdown, he died. Co-founded the Turtles and performed with Flo and Eddie. In that video, I said, damn, I'm getting Howard Stern vibes. And then I didn't notice until after I did the decode, look, he was in the Turtles with this guy named Howard. And then they went on and started another band or whatever. Look at that. When Mark, the hell's his name? Volman? Mark Volman freaking looks like Howard Stern right there. Look. And then he's synced up with this guy named Howard who he does music with. And they kept talking about him in videos when they were talking about Dude on the Left's death. That's trending right now. And as soon as I end that video, I go back to the Associated Press and freaking Howard Stern is trending. Look at that. Come on, man. He's got the Howard. I said Howard, and I'm going to play that video, and I'm going to play it on my phone too. I'm going to play it on my phone too because I don't trust this screen recorder right now. But look, Howard Stern trending. As Mark Volman is trending with his death, they look freaking. Look how close they look. They look at their styles. Come on. And then Dude Who Dies is synced up with this guy named Howard Kalin. Look at that, man. It was immediately when I went back to the Associated Press. Right? Let's see if it'll let me do it right now. And then I'm going to play that video for you. So here's our story right here. Howard Stern returns to SiriusXM radio show after trolling listeners. Looking like a troll, right? Now let's see if it takes me back to the previous article I was on. I hit back. Okay, that's where I first noticed right there, you see? Howard Stern. And right when I saw that, I'm like, what the? Because look when I hit one arrow before. See, there's the story right there. So we get the Howard Stern vibes. I go back, let me look at the next story. And I'm like, holy crap, Howard Stern. Now I'm going to play that video when I didn't know Howard Stern was trending. And I'm going to play it where I'm like, I get Howard Stern vibes from this guy. And then I click and see Howard Stern is trending. Okay, so here it is right here. Check it out. With the birthday 2 days after Suge Knight and Mark Volman, and you get Tupac. We land on that 139. That's wild. Dude's got Ozzy Osbourne, Howard Stern vibes. You hear that? Weird Al Yankovic vibes. See? Because dude looks like Howard Stern, and then I go over here and I see Howard Stern is freaking trending, man. Isn't that wild? And then the Dude Who Dies is synced up with somebody named Howard. And here's Andy Cohen, who was in on the prank or whatever. Like he was going to take over the show. Look at his middle name again, Joseph. Like Michael Joseph Jackson. He's got the first name Andrew, like Andrew Jackson in history. Come on, man. In on the prank. In on the prank right there. And then Howard Stern, born in the Jackson Heights neighborhood of Queens. Come on, right? Isn't so like that's pretty damn wild, isn't it? Don't you think? I think so. Okay, so I want to show you now, and again, the king of shock radio right there, synced up with the queen right there. Remember, Suge Knight has the same birthday as the dude who died that I just showed you. I just can't remember his damn name. He was in the Turtles. Suge Knight's got that same birthday as that guy, and it's 2 days before Queen Elizabeth II's birthday. Come on, Knight, Queen. Now you get the king of shock radio. And even Michael Jackson is the king of pop, man. Come on. And that Gary, Indiana connection with Baba Booey. David Stern in on the joke. R.I.P. So we get all these dead characters synced up. You know what I mean? So it's like a lottery. Like Howard Stern probably could have been taken off the world stage, but it's like he won the death lottery, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of Trump connections here. Stern's got the 112 birthday. Donald equals 112. And even back here, Howard Stern equals 152. Joe Biden equals 152. Joe Biden born in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania equals 152. And you heard him say hoax. I hope you heard it anyways in the video I played. And we know Trump brought that word a little bit more to the world stage in recent years, right? So it's like, come on, right? So let's go forward. So yeah, that dude died at 78, Mark Volman, looking like Howard Stern, got a buddy named Howard, and now Howard Stern is trending. Mark Volman looks almost identical to Howard Stern's look right there, doesn't he? And still got the Weird Al Yankovic vibes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here's that Andy Cohen guy right here. Okay? A seemingly flustered Andy Cohen at the top of the Howard Stern show to pretend to be his successor. This was supposed to be a cleaner handoff. I'm kind of winging it, Cohen said, blah, blah, blah. Okay, look, he has the June 2nd birthday, 6'2". Howard Stern equals 62. Howard Stern returns back to his show on a 62 and 26 date numerology. Okay, this prank, he was on summer vacation. They said he trolled people with this, and he looks like a troll. This is even 126 days before his next birthday. You get the 2-6 again. Remember, 125 days between the two dates. 125, and remember earlier, 152, 251. Come on. It's just riddles, a fake world. Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall. Speaking of Joe Biden, Joe and Jill Biden, Jill his wife, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Nursery rhyme, that's what they're called, right? Even Stern joining what was the Sirius Satellite Radio Inc. in 2006, like 26. Made him one of the highest paid personalities in broadcasting and was a game changer for both the company. You see, something had to give. So this little prank, it could have been worse. We could have got more serious news with Howard Stern. but you can see he won the lottery, right? Even Joseph equals 26. I mentioned Joe Biden. Okay. But look, 2006, joining Sirius Satellite Radio Inc., like 126 days before his birthday. He returns here to the airwaves. Andy Cohen pretending to be his successor with the second day of the 6-month birthday. Howard Stern equals 62 and returns on a 26 and 62 date numerology. No, now look, it's connected with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and as a decoder, you know that they've been connected to the other stories out there. Just go watch some decodes of some other channels, if not mine. And if you're a decoder, you're like, I see. If you're new here, welcome to the decoding world. We popped up in your algorithm for a reason. Just, be open-minded, be willing to learn. More importantly, just, stay off of the TikTok and doom scrolling. Stop the brain rot while you still have time. Because that 126 days before his next birthday he returns, that's the same as 4 months, 4 days. Even trolling equals 44. Looking like a troll, trolling his audience, trolling the people. And Jay-Z and Beyonce, remember, married on 4/4. And they were completely connected to that Jalen Carter story, spitting on Dak Prescott in the NFL. Dak wears number 4. Jalen Carter, born on 4/4. And the game was on Beyonce's 44th birthday. Beyonce, Jay-Z, both born on the 4th. All of the 4s with those two. Dak, Dallas, D, the 4th letter of the alphabet. Jalen Carter played for the Eagles. This stuff's wild, isn't it? Can you believe trolling? Remember, spit equals 44 too. Jalen Carter. You see this couple right here. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carter, whatever the hell her name is. But Carter, right? Cowboy Carter album. Spit equals 44. Jalen Carter spits on Dak. Trolling equals 44. Howard Stern trolling his fans here. 4 months, 4 days before his birthday, he returns. Even Howard Allen Stern, his full name equals Beyonce's birthday. 94 in the language. I just want to show you this script. Don't forget Jay-Z, supposedly works with the NFL as well. Okay? Come on, right? Come on, Beyonce's got the 9/4 birthday. Howard Allen Stern equals 94 in the language. What's up with that?
Don't just take classes.
Oh,
Take
man.
charge. Start your comeback today at Purdue.
Radio.
Hit us with the ad.
Radio host Howard Stern has returned to SiriusXM. The 71-year-old tapped Andy Cohen to pretend Monday to be a fill-in host before taking over his show. In joining the company in 2006, Stern became one of the highest-paid personalities in broadcasting and gave a massive boost to the nascent satellite radio business. The stunt comes after weeks of promos promised a big reveal following swirling speculation that his show would be cancelled. SiriusXM, in the years after Stern joined, has become home to top podcasts.
Rumors that it would be canceled, and he won the lottery. He could have lost his show. He maybe could have lost, he maybe could have been removed from the world stage, right? So I would call that a victory. I'm trying to look for another video here.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation
speculation about the future of Howard Stern, radio host Howard Stern, in recent weeks. And after a lengthy absence, Stern returned to the airwaves this morning to address rumors and prank his audience at the same time. TV host Andy Cohen was in Stern's place when the show went live at 7 a.m., saying that he was taking over the longtime SiriusXM show. Multiple media outlets reported Stern was leaving the network. Then, about 10 minutes later, Stern returned, saying it was all a hoax. The prank comes as his future with SiriusXM remains unclear. After signing a 5-year deal in 2020, Stern has said talks with executives have been fantastic, and he's very happy at Sirius. Well, there's been a lot of speculation about the future.
Nailed that. Look at all this. Look at all the side connections that prove this stuff is a joke, right? Dude, how many connections do we have here? Like 10, and it all lands heavy. It all lands heavy. Come on, man. I mean, you can't do much better than that. At the same time, he looks like a troll too. Everything's fake. Remember, Stephen A. Smith was the last Sirius XM decode I did. Stephen A. Smith, right? Sports guy, soap opera guy. You get the double S, and look, Sirius S, Stern S. You know, I mean, for real, I think I've seen that name Howard like possibly like about 3 times recently as well with other stories. So I hope I made that semi easy. Okay. I grew up with this character, watching his show on regular TV. It was on the E channel, I think it was, E News Network. They had shows like Talk Soup. But Howard Stern show, man, he used to have the group I looked up to growing up. He used to have Insane Clown Posse on the show back at a time when you could really never find them anywhere on TV. What do you think about the troll connection and trolling equals 44? It syncs up in the decode. Fake world, right? I enjoyed that. Again, I'm not perfect. This is my decode. If you think you can do better and you want to troll me, bots, any bots out there, come with the decode. Send me the link. Howard Stern returns to Sirius XM radio show after trolling listeners. Andy Cohen in on the joke. Until next time.